4 days after winning Olympic gold in Milan, Alysa Liu boarded a Delta flight back to San Francisco. No private jet. No chartered flight. No first-class cabin sectioned off for the new Olympic champion. Just a regular Delta flight from Atlanta to San Francisco Airport, and Alysa Liu sitting quietly in the back of the plane with her blue USA backpack in the overhead bin. For 5 hours, nobody on that flight knew she was there. She did not announce herself. She did not post on Instagram from 30,000 feet. She did not ask for anything. She just sat there, same as everyone else, heading home after a long couple of weeks away, probably tired in the specific way that only happens when you have done something enormous and the adrenaline has finally stopped and your body starts sending you the bill. Then the plane landed at SFO. And the flight attendant picked up the intercom. She said, "Ladies and gentlemen, today we welcome home a true champion. After representing us with courage, dedication and excellence, please join me in celebrating our gold medalist, Alysa Liu, who brought home the gold from the Olympic Games." She paused. Then she said, "Alysa, your hard work, resilience and passion have made all of us incredibly proud today. From San Francisco Bay, welcome home, champion." A passenger named Natalie Cardoza, who had been on the flight the whole time, said she and everyone around her had no idea Alysa was on the plane until that moment. She described the reaction as immediate and completely genuine. The whole cabin started applauding. People were smiling at strangers. Some people were visibly emotional. Natalie got out her phone. She filmed it. She posted it to TikTok. It went viral within hours. But that was not even the part people could not stop talking about. When Alysa walked off the plane and through the jet bridge, she stepped into a tunnel of gold balloons and gold tinsel curtains that airport staff had quietly decorated while the plane was taxiing in. The jet bridge. The functional utilitarian passageway that connects the plane door to the terminal and is normally about as celebratory as a beige hallway, had been transformed into something that looked like a championship parade in miniature. She walked through it smiling. Not the big performance smile she wears for the cameras at competitions. The small private one. The one that looks like someone trying to hold in a feeling that is too big for their face. She said thank you quietly to each person who congratulated her as she walked through. Not once loudly. Individually, to each person, softly, like she meant it every single time. She was carrying her own bags. Her blue USA backpack on her back. Red gift bags handed to her by fans who had been waiting at the gate. She looked like exactly what she is. A 20-year-old from Oakland who just won the biggest thing her sport has to offer and still has not quite figured out what face to make about it. Inside the terminal, a small crowd had gathered. People who had seen something online and driven to the airport on a Monday night just to be there when she came through. They shouted welcome home and congratulations. Someone yelled Oakland loves you and Alysa looked over in the direction of the voice and laughed. Another TikTok. Another million views. Here is the detail about that homecoming that made people feel something beyond the warmth of the moment. The contrast. 4 days earlier she had been standing in the Milano ice skating arena with 150 million people watching globally. The arena was shaking. Her score had come up and it was gold, and the crowd was doing that specific thing crowds do when something historic happens, which is stop being individual people and become one single enormous sound. Judges in their suits. Cameras from every angle. The Olympic anthem playing. Her coaches lifting her off the ground. Her siblings screaming in the stands. Streamers falling from the ceiling. And then 4 days later she was walking through an airport terminal in the Bay Area with a backpack on, getting gift bags from strangers, saying thank you one by one to people who had shown up on a Monday night just to tell her they were proud. One was the biggest stage in the world. One was just home. And the internet decided that somehow home was more moving than Milan. There is something about watching an extraordinary person come back to an ordinary place and be received by the actual community that made them. Not the Olympic Committee. Not the sponsors. Not the networks. Just the people who live near the same freeway exits and eat at the same restaurants and whose kids go to the same schools. The Oakland Ice Center, where Alysa has trained since her father brought her there at 5 years old, is on 10th Avenue in Oakland. It is not a fancy facility. It is an ice rink. The kind of place that smells like cold air and rubber and other people's effort. And that is where she was going back to. Not to a training complex. To the rink on 10th Avenue. The celebration did not stop at the airport. The next night, Tuesday, she had dinner at Trabacco, an Italian restaurant in Alameda. The owners, Giuseppe and Christine Nacarelli, could not believe she was there. She ordered the fettuccine bolognese. They brought out a congratulations cake written in chocolate sauce. She had the tiramisu and told them it was the best tiramisu she had ever had. Christine Nacarelli told reporters afterward, "I will take it." Other diners at the restaurant that night found out she had been there and said things like, "I cannot believe I sat at the same table." People who had nothing to do with figure skating, who had just come for dinner, who were suddenly 1 degree of separation from something that had been all over every television in the country for the past week. At the same time, billboards started going up along the 880 freeway in Oakland. 5 of them. Alysa's face above the highway. Her hometown, making sure that anyone driving through knew that this city produced her. That this particular girl, from this particular rink, on this particular stretch of California, was theirs. Oakland Mayor Barbara Lee posted on Instagram, "The city of Oakland is planning a community-wide celebration to honor Olympic gold medalist and Oakland's hometown hero Alysa Liu. Her achievement has filled our city with pride. The date has not been set yet. The demand for it is not in question." And then came the quote that the internet grabbed onto and will not let go of. When Alysa was asked by a reporter what it meant to be home after everything that happened in Milan, she thought about it for a second and said, "I got to see my siblings and my friends the past 2 nights. We even had a late-night dinner together. I am just so happy that I could bring Oakland to Milan. Bring Oakland to Milan. Not represent Oakland. Not make Oakland proud. Bring Oakland to Milan." Like she packed the city in her luggage and carried it across the ocean. Like every time she landed a jump in that Italian arena, the people on the 880 and the kids at the Oakland Ice Center and the staff at Trabacco were somehow in the building with her. She is 20 years old. She said that like it was the most natural thing in the world. Because for her it probably was. This is the part of an Olympic story that almost never gets told properly. The part after the gold medal. Not the press tour, not the endorsement announcement, not the White House visit. The part where the person who just did something historic gets on a commercial flight and goes home and sits in the back and does not tell anyone who they are. Alysa Liu has 5.8 million Instagram followers as of today. A week ago she had 200,000. In 7 days she gained more followers than most celebrities accumulate in a career. Every brand in America is looking at her. Every talk show wants her. Every network wants the interview. And she came home on a Delta flight. She walked through a gold balloon tunnel. She said thank you softly to each person who was there. She ate fettuccine bolognese at a restaurant in Alameda and told the owners they made good tiramisu. That is the homecoming. And honestly, it is more Alysa Liu than anything she did on the ice. Her coach Philip DeGuglielmo made clear that the celebration is going to be brief. She leaves for Prague on March 21st to defend her world title. Between now and then there is training, there is preparation, there is the work of being a world and Olympic champion who now has to show up again and prove it was not a fluke. But first there is the Lunar New Year parade in Oakland this Saturday. She and her family will be on the main float. The bunk bed crew, all of them, back together, riding through the city that watched them grow up. Her father Arthur Liu, who survived Tiananmen Square and moved to California with nothing and raised 5 children alone in a 1-bedroom apartment, will be on that float. The triplets will be on that float. Her sister Selena will be on that float. And Alysa will be on that float. 20 years old. Oakland hometown hero. The first American woman in 24 years to win individual Olympic figure skating gold. With a blue USA backpack she probably still has not unpacked yet. Welcome home, champion. You earned every balloon.